Hey everybody, we are going to do some more going through my comic collection. We're going to start, here we go. X Factor #1. Now this was I believe it was 87 or 80, it says 85. But it's a big deal. Look, $1.25 now, 85, $1.25, that's pretty expensive. And of course, we got the great artwork. Of course, the whole deal was this was the original lineup of the X-Men back together, and of course they've gone through quite a few changes by this point. Jean Grey had been dead for a while after the Dark Phoenix saga. She was revealed to be trapped in a cocoon. That the Dark Phoenix is one of those big retcons that she never was the Phoenix, that it was a clone of hers. So, and Cyclops, of course, does one of the more creepier things. He ditches his wife and child to go back to his ex-girlfriend, and it turns out later that his wife was a clone. So they were almost identical in a lot of ways. Of course, we got Beast back in the X-Men after being an Avenger, and I believe during this time he'd also been in the Defenders along with Iceman and Angel. So yeah, we got the original lineup back together. None of these guys had really been active in the X-Men except for Cyclops for quite a while, so it's kind of neat to get them together. And during this time we also get Cameron Hodge, who sets the idea that they're mutant hunters, but really just trying to rescue mutants in trouble. But that actually later backfires and turns out to be a big twist I won't get into unless you don't know anything about Cameron Hodge. But yeah, great artwork. I like to see Beast hanging on stalactites. And of course the fire is an implantation of who they're after, which turns out to be Rusty because his fire powers. If you're a Deadpool 2 movie fan, you know Rusty's a big deal in that one. Alright, let's go to the next one. Oh, here's a great, this looks like I got several comics mixed into one, but we'll see. I love back here, 1992 Fleer basketball card. Anybody collect those the NBA cards back then? Because, of course, the card collection was a bigger boom for the comics than the cards. But here we go. What do we got? Galactic Storm. This is my collection of Captain America Operation Galactic Storm issues. So we got Part 8, which is $3.99. I like to put them back in grouping. We got 400, which was the anniversary big one, 80 pages, 400th issue, and then that was part 15, and then finally we got part 19, which was the Avengers in here. So toward the end of during the whole Nega Bomb reveal, and finally After Storm, which is the epilogue to Operation Galactic Storm. And you see here quite a few cast of characters in here. Nice little kind of setup of stuff that will be happening later on. If you're, great little heads, if you can, some of these you might be able to recognize, some you won't. Of course, you got Black Widow, you got Iron Man, you got Scarlet Witch, you got Crossbones, you got Falcon, Diamondback, who was his girlfriend at the time. Of course, I believe that's supposed to be U.S. Agent at the top there. Of course, Falcon. I'm trying to remember if that's supposed to be Wanda in the middle or not. Maybe that's Hank over there. That could be John Jameson, the guy with the beard. I believe that's supposed to be D-Man. And we got Bearded Thor. This is actually Eric Masterson. So, neat one. And of course, I like this one, Cat fighting. I believe that's supposed to be one of the Kree. I can't remember how this one, but he's in an arena fighting. Of course, the Operation Galactic Storm. The title, of course, is a nice little. It's 1991-92, so we're dealing with of course. Operation Desert Storm for Galactic Storm. It's the Kree-Shi'ar War, which is kind of a rare thing. I know some people had mixed feelings about the story, but I like it. And this is a really great 400 issue. And this part, Cat fights basically all of his arch enemies in what turns out to be a mine trap set up by the Supreme Intelligence. So really cool when you see all of his arch enemies, including Batroc. You get the Viperess. You got Constrictor, and of course the Red Skull. So neat one. Alright, and then we got here Life Theft, the final chapter. As you can see, it's shiny issue, Amazing Spider-Man 388. It was the big reveal of a very long arc that they had going on for a couple years. Bagley's drawing this one, involving the return of Peter's parents, Richard and Mary Parker, which were revealed about a year and a half earlier that they were alive. But as we find out later, this is a retcon. I won't go into the details, but this is one of the few times they discussed that Peter's parents could be alive, or what much about Peter's parents. It was one of those great mysteries, like why was Peter living with Aunt May and Uncle Ben? And this kind of deals with some other details. There's quite a few big twists. I get a kick out of the price, $2.99.95. Everybody was complaining about that. Yeah, of course you have the UK prices on here too. It's gold, so it costs more for the fancy cover. It's supposed to be a big collector's issue. All right, last one. X Factor Extinction Agenda Part 9. So this is the final issue of the Extinction Agenda arc. This was a nice little look at where all the X-Men books were in 1990. We're getting close to what we call the big reset, where all the characters are going to be changing. We're going to have different lineups soon. Havoc's in the center because this arc was Havoc was a big part of this arc. Partially he was under mind control, so we get the big him being free. We get the end of what's going on in the Extinction. If you read the Extinction Agenda, make sure to tell me what your opinions about it was, because definitely, tying to the first X Factor issue, this one, kind of culmination of a bunch of big twists. Also a lot of big changes for quite a few books, specifically New Mutants. So, all right, well, and of course, early time we see Cyclops and Cable working together, which we'll find out. Big reveal later what their relationship is. And we got Jean Grey in her X Factor garb before she kind of dropped the mask. Jubilee early on here. Wolverine still in his brown costume. And great Jim Lee cover. Jim Lee didn't draw X Factor, but he did the covers for all the Extinction Agenda. All right.